Yo, 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 what is going on? C-Peers, happy Thursday. I'm here a little bit late today. It is almost 11:15 Pacific time here in Los Angeles. I know I typically go live around 9 o'clock, but today has been a busy day. It started off really early. I had a great time last night. I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook Live publicly. But I did Facebook Live publicly yesterday as I was driving an hour away in Los Angeles. You know, of course, I probably could have ridden a bike or walked there faster with the traffic, but I went somewhere deep in LA to pick up a custom gift from my dear friend whose birthday it was, who I mentioned yesterday, and the gift was super cool. He has a book coming out that I said called Live Big, and he has a logo for the book, and he's had a hat made, and he has like a thing for his phone, like a phone case made. And he loves shoes. So I actually was able to get custom shoes made with the Live Big logo on the side of these white shoes. It was super, super cool. He loved it. We went out last night to dinner, had a big cooking class kind of thing where we made all this amazing food. We made flan, we made empanadas, we made, what did we make? We made hummus, we made homemade caramel, we made, what else? We made this like cheese and like fig kind of thing. We made all kinds of amazing stuff, and I am not a cook. I tell people all the time, I know how to make one thing, and it's reservations. So definitely not my typical thing, but Ajit loves to cook, so his wife Nita put together this whole thing, and like I think it was 12 of us or something, 12 or 14 of us went and did this 3-hour-long cooking class with all these different courses, and just so much fun, so much laughter, and it was really, really a lot of fun. So this morning, though, as I said, it's been a very busy day. Content creation stuff, creating long-form posts and things that I share on Instagram, and my newsletters that go out, and kind of doing all that content stuff. Catching up on a lot of social media and Facebook stuff within my bus group. It was a super active morning over on the bus. I see Miriam's here. Miriam, super busy morning over on the bus today. I love it. It was so great to see all that stuff, especially Steph's video and Miriam's video, Marion's video, and all this stuff. Isn't it great how we always confuse the two of you with your names? How dare you have names that are so close? Giapana's here. Catch you live. Yay. What up, JG? Hey, what up, Giapana? So good to see you. JJ's in the house. Jeremy Jackson's here. Bruce, Juicy Brucey's here. What is going on? Shell is here. How are you, my love? Awesome. So glad to see all of you here. So that's been the morning, super busy, but got a lot of stuff done, feeling good about that. Still a lot of creation to do today. Have a coaching call with somebody in about 45 minutes. Really cool, actually. One of my one-on-one clients, she's not a coach, she's a small business owner. She's actually here in this group. She's not here live, but she is here in the group. And we have gifted her a session to one of her employees. So that, which I think is just beautiful when a leader in a company is so dedicated to the growth of their people that they will find a way to have their coach other people in the company, which I think is beautiful. So I'm super excited to coach her today. And I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because the person that's being coached is not in this world. She's never been coached before. She's not into personal growth. Like this is it's a weird thing. So I'm having to go back to all of what I teach about being relaxed and being unattached and, using the 3 B's model that I teach on the bus and all these things to be unattached in a conversation and just show up. And it's interesting to notice when you're with somebody who gets coaching and knows what coaching is all about versus somebody who has no idea about coaching. And so what I always say is that I want people to be relaxed. And so we had some email exchanges and you could tell there was a little bit of, like trepidation, and she wasn't sure exactly what she was getting into. And so I tried to relax her as much as possible over the email. And then I also had my client share with her one of the modules of Playful Prosperity. This client also went through Playful Prosperity, and had her watch one of the modules just to get a sense of me, to know that she's coming into a loving, fun, gentle environment. And one of the things I let her know as well, and it feels like Thursdays have become like 2-for-1 Thursdays. Don't I normally like end up doing like 2 different lessons in a Thursday Facebook Live? I don't know what's up with that. But anyways, one thing I will tell you, if you are going to work with employees inside of a company and they are being voluntold, for lack of a better word, that they are going to do this. They didn't call you themselves and say, hey, I'm looking for a coach. Somebody else in their company, told them that this is something they're getting. Is that it was very important for me to let this person know, and this is a tip for all of you who coach anybody inside of a company or people who are being gifted a session from somebody else, is that the coaching that we're going to do is not rehabilitation. It's not remediation. You're not doing anything wrong. I'm not here to fix you. This is something, coaching the way that I do it, and this is the way that I would position it if this is the way you do your coaching. I told her in the email, coaching the way I do it is a perk that high performers get to be even higher performing, to see if there are any distractions in their way from being even more awesome than they already are, from rocking even more at the thing they already rock at. And it's this whole thing about like shifting the conversation, especially with coaching, which I think still has a stigma that it's like, Fisher Price, my first therapist is what coaching is. And it's absolutely fucking not. Is changing that conversation to, hey, just in case you think this is a thing where we come together and talk about how you're fucked up and how we can fix you, this is actually something that top performers get. This is the stuff that like the people who are killing it in life get the opportunity to kill it even more by having a coach. And I think that relaxed her, and I think she'll come in with a lot more openness and possibilities. So that's happening in about 40 minutes. Super excited to do that with her. It's going to be awesome. Let me check in with you guys and see, because a bunch of you are showing up now. Cindy's here. Cindy Warden in the house. What up? Miriam, hello. Katie, how are you? Good evening. MSG, what's going on? Can't wait to see you in like a month and a half, sister. Miriam says, you teach about relaxing them first. Absolutely. Yeah, Miriam, we've talked about that a lot in the bus because I think it's very important. Cindy says, that's really cool. Thank you. I love that. Mark is here. Mark Radfelders, how are you, brother? Sultan says, I love your t-shirt. Good time. So true. Yeah. So those of you who haven't seen this, I've got 99 problems and 98 of them don't exist. Don't actually exist. These are shirts that I make for a lot of different reasons, as gifts, but also as a client creation method. So maybe I'll talk about that another time. Okay. So 14 people are in the live stream. Let's honor them and dive into today's lesson. Oh, sorry. There's more people saying stuff. Maria sent a heart. Carrie Rose is here. Dr. Carrie Rose, what up? Can't wait to talk to you next week. Yvonne is here. Yvonne, how are you? So good to see you. Anna's here. Boom. Maria said, just say no to remedial coaching. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Terrible George Bush impression. Miriam said, you start like this. What the hell is wrong with you? You know what? That would be, actually, Miriam, that would be really, really funny. Like if somebody really is nervous about coaching, what if you start the coaching session off and say, listen, I've heard you are a total fuck up. Can we make you not so much of a fuck up? And just like have just pattern interrupt, have them be like, what are you saying? And they'd be like, no, I'm totally kidding. Your boss thinks you're amazing and thinks you're like the greatest thing ever in the world. Now can we play? Don't try that at home, folks. I'm not going to try it either. Giappana says, love this, needed this. Just got someone sent over by the boss to be coached on communication. And of course, Facebook in its infinite wisdom is not letting me see the rest. But I'm happy that's helpful for you. So let me jump into today's message since it has become a 2-for-1. First of all, you know what? How are all of you doing? Like, just give me a 1 if you are just like, you don't have to even be excited about life. Like, are you just kind of, can you be content with me for the next 5 minutes? Like hit 1 if you are open to just being content and peaceful in life for the next 5 minutes as we talk. I just want to know if you want to do, I don't know why that came up for me, but like there's a lot of stress going on, a lot of people suffering, and I did my morning routine this morning, which I talked to you guys here before about that, where I do my compassion exercise for other people instead of doing a gratitude exercise for myself. And I just feel this feeling of like heaviness going on right now in the world. And I don't have any proof of this. I just feel it. I have some proof because of people that I've talked to, friends, clients, things like that. But I just want us to like see if we can just be together in this space and just be like totally cool with being in this space together. I love it. Okay, cool. Awesome. We're getting tons of 1s. Thank you. Awesome. Miriam says, I used to say this in certification. They take me seriously. That's fucking badass. Miriam says, I can't help myself. Cool. So content. Cindy said, so content, baby. Love it. Caleb is here. He just showed up. Absolutely, JG. Kenny says, getting a bunch of 1s from people. Sweet. Thank you, guys. Okay, I appreciate that. And maybe the reason I need to do that, too, I'm feeling hot, man. I'm like, the back of my seat's hot. Like, I got some heat coming off me. Y'all feel the heat? Y'all feel the heat coming off of JG right now? Probably because I have my protein shake and my bulletproof and water at the same time. So my bladder is just like, you are on fire right now. We're going to have to pee ourselves soon. Okay, Katie says, hell yes, 111, love you. You always feed my day and lift me up in light. Okay, and then a bunch of emojis with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Katie. Awesome. Yvonne said, what? Okay, maybe I need to turn this off. Laughing out loud at work. Awesome. If you're laughing, it's perfect. Miriam said, me too, so hot. Okay, cool. So let's jump in because I'm totally drawing this out. So this is a fantastic question from Mira, who's here in the group with us, one of our CPers. And Mira's question was around pricing hacks. She's like, her original question was like, what are your best hacks for pricing? And how do you create your pricing when you look at other people? Like how do you create your pricing without looking at the competition, since we're talking about building a competition-proof business? And I love the question. So thank you so much, Mira, for that question. And it's what led me to what the title of this live is, which is here are the 3 factors to be aware of when pricing your offerings. So just a reminder, Competition-proof business does not mean competition-absent business. So it's okay to look at the competition. It's fun. Sometimes we like to look at the competition so we can laugh at them. We can say, that's how you're running your business? You're such an oh, so do I business. What was I just talking about? Compassion and people suffering? That's out the window. You stupid other fucking businesses. You suck. We rule. That's not what it's about. But what I want to talk about, though, there are three things that I want you to be aware of, three factors that I want you to be aware of about price in general when you are pricing your offerings. And this goes for lower priced offerings, but I think the majority of you know that the place that I play in both the coaching and the programs that I provide, that I offer, and the people that typically are attracted to working with me is that we're selling. I really don't like this term, but I haven't thought of a better term for it yet, so I'm just going to say it. I'm kind of a language Nazi. I'm allowed to say that because I'm Jewish. I'm kind of a language Nazi, and so I don't like the term high ticket sales. But it's the only way that I can differentiate right now between a low price and a higher priced offering. And we don't want to say high priced sales because we'll talk about why in a second about my view on price. But anyways, for lack of a better term right now, higher ticket, meaning higher intimacy, smaller groups of people or one-on-one, and something that's not the $97 product, right? Maybe it's a $500 course. Maybe it's a $5,000 group program. Maybe it's a $50,000 one-on-one coaching program. Whatever it is, it's something that is typically going to be a higher ticket, higher priced sale because there's more intimacy. So when I'm talking about price here, I'm talking about it in the context of that, not in the context of how do you price your ebook or your do-it-yourself course, because that shit just doesn't interest me and I don't do it, so I don't think I have any good advice or any good feedback or any good insights to share with you on that, except don't do it. No, do what you want. It's just not what I do. So here are the three factors that I want you to be aware of when you think about pricing your offerings. Number one, your price that you charge for your services has to match your overall financial goals. Your price for your services has to match your overall financial goals. So whatever you price your services at, you want to make sure that at scale, and for those of you who don't know what that means, at scale means like when you're booked, when you have all the clients that you would possibly want to serve, if you are charging that fee, does that give you the financial outcomes that you're looking for? Right? Because it's, a lot of times we start with, well, how should I price this? What's the value? How should I compete against so-and-so? Well, none of that shit matters. Because if you want to make $1 million a year, or you want to make $100,000 a year, or you want to make $50,000 a year, the only thing that matters is that whatever you're charging has to make sure that it fulfills what your financial objectives are. I mean, that's not the only thing in general, but when we're talking about pricing, that's the first thing I want to know about. And so I was just doing this exercise with a client yesterday, and one of the first things I'll do with people is say, what's your financial goal? And then we look at what your service stack is, and the service stack is something I teach on the bus. It's a systematized way to not have all these various parts and pieces of your business, but making sure that everything you offer is integrated. It all feeds each other. And when you look at your service stack and you look at the things that you offer and you look at the things that are in there and you look at how many of each you want to sell, whether it's a certain kind of program or a certain kind of course or a certain kind of one-on-one coaching, it's important to say, if I sold X amount of these, which is the most that I want to have in a year, at this price, and I sold X amount of these to the extent of that I want to have per year at this price, does this get me to my financial goal? And maybe you have to play with those and say, okay, well actually, but if I do 3 more of this and 4 less of this, right? So I don't want to add more because we'll burn out. But if I'm tweaking these things and kind of doing the seesaw or the what's the scales of justice thing, right? If I'm doing that kind of thing, where should I take on less of this and more of this because it's maybe more profitable or it's something I can charge a higher fee for, a stronger fee for, and that will get me to my financial goals. So first thing to ask yourself is whatever you're charging at scale, will that get you to your financial goals? And we're not talking about like serving, we're not talking about like value, we're not talking about any of that shit yet. We're talking very, very basic numbers, and this is something that coaches miss a lot, and it's something that I'm grateful that I have a business background before coaching and that I have an MBA and all these things that help me to recognize and understand these fundamental elements of business that I think get missed a lot of times in coaching businesses. So that's what I'm happy and excited to be able to share with you guys as well, are things like that maybe you may not have had access to, or you did and maybe you forgot, and that's fine too. I'm here to remind you. So element number one, factor number one, is to make sure your price matches your overall financial goals. Factor number two, your price should have you excited to show up. Your price should have you excited to show up. So if you create a price for something and you're doing this first exercise where you say, okay, if I do this at scale, it fulfills my financial objectives, it fulfills my financial obligations, but I don't feel lit up. I don't feel excited to show up for somebody or somebody's, right? Multiple people in a group or one-on-one with somebody. I don't feel excited because I don't feel like the money that I'm being paid, the price that I'm charging, really has me feel like I'm using this as the best use of my time, energy, effort, and focus, and that I can serve at the highest level here. Because when I charge a price for something where it's not something that lights me up, then at least historically for me, and this is not always the case, right? None of this is ever always the case. I don't do always and never. This is just my experience that I'm sharing with you. So I'm in no way saying it's right, and I'm in no way saying you have to adopt it. This is just something for you to ponder and be reflective on, to see how it might show up for you, how it has shown up for you, and how you can avoid it or Tai Chi it if it does come up for you. Is that in the past, in the very beginning, I remember charging a fee. And this depends where you are in the business too, right? If you're just starting out, I'm going to say something that probably is not going to be super popular. You don't get to not be lit up by any price. Because when you first start out, the goal is to get experience, to fill your calendar, to be serving people, to get stories, to hone your craft, and to be having income come in the door. So there's nothing wrong with saying, well, when I first start, I'm not going to take on any clients until I'm getting the exact fee that I feel lit up about. There's nothing wrong with that, but just know there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off to everything. There's a trade-off. If you wait for the perfect client at the perfect price when you first start, you may have to wait a long time and you may not make any money. And if you have the means to do that and the support financially or otherwise to do that, that's fine. You can do that. As long as you're still getting practice and you're at least having enrollment conversations, great. You could do the flip side and say, I don't care what I charge, I just want to get a bunch of clients in. And that's great because you'll have revenue coming in and you'll feel more confident about your coaching and you'll be coaching more, so you'll be getting better at it. But of course, the trade-off is that you may not be super lit up about that price and you may be taking on a lot of people that are not your ideal clients. There's always a trade-off, right? There's always a trade-off to everything. The question is, which trade-off are you willing to fall in like with? You don't have to fall in love with it, but which trade-off are you willing to fall in like with? So for me, what I'm talking about now when I say the price should have you excited to show up, be excited to show up, is that I have had in the past, even once I started having clients come on where I wasn't like just in my first one or two clients, that I would charge a price because I felt some sense of scarcity. And then I would almost feel kind of resentful that I took that fee for the coaching, right? Because I feel like, shit, I know that I'm serving this person at a high level. Why did I propose that price? Like, that price doesn't excite me at all. So something to be aware of. Again, this is not an end all be all, and I'm sure I'm not looking at comments right now. I have them moved away so I can just focus on this content for now, and then I'll go back to the comments. Is that I know that can seem like I just gave you black and white instructions on what to do. You have to really feel it out. So for you, that second thing there about the second factor to be aware of when pricing your offerings is actually twofold. It's you should have a price that excites you to show up, and at the same time realize that doing that in the beginning could force you to have a trade-off that you don't actually want. So really, I guess the second factor is balancing where you are in your business and what your needs are. Do I need to bring in money right now? Is that a big thing that I need to do to support my family or whatever? Or can I be a little slower on creating clients and not necessarily have paying clients and focus on coaching as much as possible, even if I don't get any yeses on my fee at the time? So again, something to be aware of. That one's a little more gray than the first one, but that's something I want you to be aware of. Now, factor number 3, okay? Factor number 3, and this is a big one, okay? This is the first one was the most practical. The second one was the most ethereal and esoteric. The third one is to me probably the most powerful, right? So we got practical, we got I can't think of a P word for ethereal, and then we have powerful, and that's this: your price that you charge for your services is not a reflection of your value. Okay, I'm going to say this again: your price is not a reflection of your value as a coach. Your value is a reflection of your client's desires and your client's possibilities. I'll say that one again. Your value is a reflection of your client's desires and possibilities. Your price is simply the way that they check in and that they get in alignment with, or excitement around, or fear around those desires and possibilities. So let me say that whole thing again. Your price is not a reflection of your value. Your value is a reflection of your client's desires and possibilities. Your price is simply the way that they check in and that they get in alignment with their own excitement or their own fears around those desires and possibilities. Okay? I know that's a mouthful, okay? The last part of that is the most important part. You don't dictate the value with your services. You don't dictate the proper price to charge for your services beyond what we just talked about in factor 1 and factor 2. Your job as a coach is that once your fee is on the table, is to help them to find out, your client to find out if the desires and possibilities they have for themselves, if what is possible through doing this work in the world, whether they do it with you or not, if what is possible for them in the world is valuable enough for them, that paying this money as an investment is a no-brainer. That the conversation shifts actually to the investment of time, effort, and energy, because that's going to be way more than the dollar amount if they really want to make this transformation. And again, we don't want to scare them off, but again, just getting them to recognize the money is the least of it. So if I can get them to a place where I fully understand, where they have convinced me of the value of the services. I never want to convince anybody else of the value of my services. If they can convince me of the value of my services based on what they see as possible and based on how much they desire to have those possibilities come to fruition, then all the price does is either match and get an alignment with those desires for them or show a misalignment. Now, they may be excited, and so it may be easy for them to say, yes, I'm so excited about these possibilities. I see the value in doing this for me. I see how this will improve my life or my business or my health or my relationships. So of course it's a no-brainer that I'm going to pay this money, because especially, we haven't talked about this in this conversation, but it's kind of the core of everything I do here and what I teach is that you've had some kind of transformational experience with them. This is not the conversation you have at the end of a 10-minute discovery session. This is the conversation you have at the end of an hour or 90-minute or 2-hour or multiple of those type of sessions where people have really experienced transformation to where they have enough to go on to even know what their desires and possibilities are and to know that you're the person that can help them with that. That is where the sale is made, because they are not being sold on your coaching. They are being sold on their own possibilities. Okay? So that's where the power comes in. And when they're excited, that's great. If they are scared and they think it's too expensive, that doesn't mean your services are not valuable enough. And it doesn't mean that their desires are not in alignment with your services or with your value. What that means is, it may be such a big desire or such a big possibility for them that the money becomes an excuse as to one more reason why there's no way that's possible for them. And this becomes a coaching conversation. And I'm not going to dig into this because this would be a whole other half an hour, 40-minute thing. And I think when I covered this in the bus, it was like a 20 or 30-minute thing. So I think the enrollment conversation part was like an hour video, plus there's another bonus training I did on the playful proposal process, which is like another 45 minutes. So it's kind of a long thing that I did there, but because it's so important. But that can be a coaching thing as well, right? To open them up and really start to understand, are they saying that this is not right for them money-wise because they're afraid of just how good life can be? Or is it really not something that they're willing to invest in because their desires and possibilities are not in alignment, they're not commensurate with the fee that they would pay to have support to create those things in their lives? So those are the 3 factors that I would be aware of when you're pricing your offerings. Again, number 1, the practical one, it has to match your overall financial goals. Number 2, the energetic one, it has to have you excited to show up. But of course, there's a trade-off there, and we talked about that. So your mileage may vary. Check in with yourself and see which trade-off it is that you want to honor, that you want to take on as your own for now. And then number 3, the most powerful one, understanding that your price is not a reflection of your value. Your value is a reflection of your client's desires, and your price is simply a way for them to see how in alignment they are with those desires and those possibilities coming true for them. Okay, let me check in with you guys now and see, is this resonating? Let me know your thoughts. Give me some feedback. Is this landing with you? Are you seeing where this can be helpful in pricing your offerings? Are you seeing where it can be helpful in having you be more powerful as a coach and how you show up in your enrollment conversations? Let me know in the comments below. I love when I can rhyme. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Matt's here. What's up, brother? Matt said, didn't think of the price making me also want to show up. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, commits them and commits you. Miriam says, oh, it has to light me up. I may have to shift things. Yeah, and again, like, that's that trade-off, Miriam, and we can talk more about that on the bus. But yeah, that's a trade-off to look at for sure. But I love that you're willing to look at it. Matt says, so true. Got to start somewhere. I feel my skills have to match what I'm providing. Yeah, and even that, like, okay, I'll leave that. Yes, I love that, Matt. Thank you. Matt says, always feel my price has to match what I'm providing. He said it twice. It's almost like the universe wants me to really dig into this. Shit, do I want? I'm not going to go there right now. I appreciate what you're saying, and I do actually agree with that, Matt. And I think that the number one way, or one of the number one ways, I guess it can't be one of the number one ways, that's like pluralizing the word priorities. It's stupid. It makes no grammatical sense. One of the ways you build your coaching practice even more, powerfully and scale it is to get ridiculously good at what you do. So I'm on board with you, Matt, 1,000%. Cindy says, a price that has me excited to show up. What a great shift. Love that. So happy you love that, Cindy. Matt says, price is not a reflection of your value. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of like on the fence with that. But for what you're saying, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you 1,000%. Cindy said, oh my God, your value and price distinction, so awesome. I have to go back and write this down. Awesome. I'm so glad you love it, Cindy. Thank you so much. Caleb said, love it, brother. Love it all, brother. This has come up with me with a client that I signed up for a year at a decent something. Sorry, Caleb. Facebook will not let me see the comments if they're more than 3 lines. Cindy says, yes, I've heard this on the bus. Helps to clear it again. Helps to hear it again, rather. Thank you. More clarity. Bus is the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Cindy. Miriam says, wow, you number 3 is so clear. Thank you, Miriam. Yeah, it's something that just occurred to me this morning, actually. And when it hit me, I was like, oh, fuck. That's like, I need to share that with you guys while it's fresh in my mind. Yvonne said, this is definitely landing. Need to sit with this and reflect. Awesome, Yvonne. Love Yvonne, you're so open to this stuff. I love it. Caleb says, can totally relate to all of this. What it reminds me of is the PP module around no such thing as, it just says PE, but I'm thinking maybe permanent and pervasive. I'm not sure because I can only see the 3 lines. Sorry. Yvonne says, love 1 and 2 and 3 is amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Caleb, yeah, damn Facebook. I don't know what they're doing here. Like, Facebook Live is like the cornerstone of the way that people are engaging on their platform. And if it's more than 3 lines in a comment, you can't see. Ridiculous. Okay, Mark says, so good, unlocks a lot. Awesome. So happy that's helpful for you, Mark. That's fantastic. So I would say to practice this, especially that last one, even just anchoring in the fact that your price is not a reflection of your value, I hope that lightens you up a little bit, and it really gets us from a place of ego to service. We've talked about this a bunch, right? The shift from ego to service has done so much in my world, and for so many of the coaches that I work with, it's such a big shift. And even just salespeople that I've worked with, people that I've worked with in sales, entrepreneurs, business leaders who are having management issues, business partners, romantic partners. So much of this is about shifting from ego to service. Just funny how that comes up so much. So cool. All right, guys, I am going to go finish all of my liquids here. Okay, I'm just gonna finish all of my liquids because I hit myself in the nose because hydration is very important, and if you don't hydrate, you'll never be a powerful coach. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you very soon. Love you all. Peace!